Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
All right, Paul, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Call right here on Pittsburgh CW. The number to call on the Bordas and Bordas hotline is 412-575-2600. Tweet us at KDPomp, at Tim Benz PGH. We welcome Tim Benz here from Trib Live and the Steelers DVE pregame show. He does a lot of different things. And tonight, unfortunately, we're talking about something that we really don't want to talk about. You never expect these kind of stories to happen, but it brings back memories of Roberto Clemente. As young Pirate fans out there, or any Pirate fan would remember what it was like to hear the news that he tragically died back in 1972, 3 months after getting his 3,000th hit. So the news came today that Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others all killed in a tragic helicopter accident. And anytime you hear this, it's just stunning, especially when it involves someone as globally known as Kobe Bryant.
Right, and I was myself going back to a couple of times. I covered Bryant twice, once in Boston, once in Salt Lake, and just seeing how the crowd would react to him every time he had the ball, particularly in the later years in Boston when the two teams at the time, neither of them were very good in the game that I covered that night, but still whenever Kobe had it, people were flashing back to the Celtics-Lakers finals that those two teams went head-to-head in, and I think every time he had the ball at any point over his career in Boston, and even going back to when I first saw him in '99 against the Utah Jazz that year. I mean, Pomp, that team had Shaq, Kobe, Rodman, Rick Fox. I was standing outside the locker room with Vanessa Williams and with Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and there was just this magnetism around the team, and no one carried it more easily than Kobe did. It's, to draw the local analogy, you mentioned the passing of Roberto Clemente, the analogy to draw there. The one that I draw is Crosby, with the way that he just so easily reacts to people being around him and the sort of maelstrom of attention. It's always been water off a duck's back for Sid, and I think it was that way for Kobe too. He never seemed fazed by the attention.
He was terrific at it, and it didn't matter. The guy always tried to get better, no matter how great he was. You can see a lot of athletes when they reach that sort of pedestal that they, may back off, slack off, don't work as hard. He always stressed working hard, and he got better, as the years went on, to the point where he won 5 NBA championships, Tim, but some of his better games were later in his career, including, I think, the last one he played, which was 60 points. So.
Yeah, it was something to see his career evolve, and, I think what made him really special from the standpoint of being somewhat in the same era of Michael Jordan is he quickly made us understand that there could be a passing of the torch. And I don't know if it ever got passed directly from Michael to Kobe. I mean, I still think Michael was the greatest of all time. But to even come along that close to the end of Jordan's career and intersect for a while, and to make you feel like you're watching somebody who belonged, at least in the conversation, the same stratosphere. That's how good he was.
He was. And last night, interesting, just because the Lakers were in Philly, that's Kobe's hometown, and what did LeBron do? He moved ahead of him, to which Kobe Bryant posted his last tweet congratulating LeBron James on moving past him third all time. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of great tributes today by NBA teams. The 24-second shot violation, each of them took, it was around the entire league. And then, of all things, the Grammys are at the Staples Center, and then on Tuesday, Staples Center, it's Clippers-Lakers.
Right. So
it's all
you saw
LA.
Doc Rivers reacted today,
extremely emotional. Alvin Gentry, all of them did. So rest in peace to all of those people who perished on that flight. Terrible situation to have to cover, but that's life, and it makes you appreciate just what you have. So make note of that. When we come back, we're going to talk about some other stuff. Tim and I will get into the Penguins and what happens after the break. Friday, Philadelphia comes to town. It's just the first of many games coming up here that are in the Metropolitan Division and in the Eastern Conference. So it's going to really ramp up, and we'll talk about some of the personnel decisions that have to be made and also potential trades. We'll also get into the NFL. It's Super Bowl week now that the Pro Bowl is over. TJ Watt made headlines today, but the Steelers have a couple of guys still waiting to gain entrance into the Hall of Fame. We'll get into that and more. Remember to call us now. It's 412-575-2600. That is the Bordas and Bordas hotline. And this is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call powered by FanDuel Sportsbook. We're coming back right after this on Pittsburgh CW. The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, putting new roofs on Pittsburgh homes for over 25 years. Call Ireland Contracting at 1-800-NEW-ROOF.